Welcome to the Humble Servant Podcast with Eric Velez. This is the show where we help men and women in public service transition to a career in the private sector. Now here's your host, Eric Velez.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Humble Servant. This is actually the very first transition tip episode. So what exactly is a transition tip? So a transition tip is meant to be a short episode in which I get to share with you a quick tip that hopefully you'll find useful and you'll incorporate it into your transition process. Today's episode is called How Do You Get Your Resume to the Top of the Pile? So what I mean by that is when you're applying for a job in which there's a lot of competition, you're going to have something in that resume that really separates you from sometimes could be hundreds of other resumes. And to kind of describe the tip, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it was like at Disney when I was going through the process of trying to fill a vacancy. Now, it could be a vacancy for a senior manager, a director, or even a vice president. But the first thing that I did was that I connected with my HR business partner, and together we developed a job description. And that job description, or JD, then was posted and people had the opportunity to apply for the job. Now, another critical function that the HR business partner had or filled was the fact that because there was going to be a lot of resumes, they would go through the resumes and take the top 10, the top 20, it all depended on the job, and then say, okay, Eric, in this case, here's the resumes that I feel meet the qualifications that you're looking for. So I want you to think about when you're writing that resume. So oftentimes when we're writing the resume, we're writing it with the idea that our audience is the person that is actually looking to fill that vacancy. So in this case of Disney, it would have been applying for a corporate security job that I was trying to fill. Now, I've mentioned the fact that I'm not going to be the very first person that's going to look at those resumes. The very first person that's going to look at that resume is most likely somebody in the HR organization. So maybe in a smaller organization, it might be a little different in which, the person that's looking to hire is doing it all. But in a larger organization like Disney, the first person to look at that will be somebody in HR. So with that as a backdrop, think about how you're going to make your resume different. Well, to me, what makes the resume different is that it creates a connection with the person reading it. So if you're trying to establish a connection with somebody, what better way than to write about or share something that is very relevant to them, something that really catches their attention. As leaders of people, as managers of teams, you're doing a lot within that HR space that is going to instantly connect with that HR person that's reading that resume. For example, you're doing a lot around performance reviews. You're doing a lot around career development. Maybe you're actually doing recruiting yourself. Oftentimes, you're resolving workplace conflict. And all of these things are extremely important. I think you have to go even one step further. To me, it's not enough saying, I've done these types of HR functions. To me, the difference maker is the fact that you were innovative, creative, and you've come up with your own way of doing something that's different, unique. I'm going to give you a really practical example of what I'm talking about. And here's a great opportunity. So if you're a good leader of people, performance recognition is something that's very important to you. And performance recognition is very important to the HR representative of that organization that you're going to. Now, if you have created a new system of performance recognition, a new innovative way of doing this that really helped boost morale, and then actually others in the organization have adopted that, that's something that you want to put in that 2-page marketing document called the resume. The HR representative who's reading that now is looking at what you've done. And, they may look at it and say, wow, that's something I haven't even thought about that. That's pretty neat. What you have done there is that you've made a connection with that person because you're writing about something that you both share a passion about. I can tell you, if your resume has something in there about that and all the others don't, it is going to make a difference. Now, you only have certain real estate in this 2-page document. You don't have to write paragraphs and paragraphs, but definitely put that in there, it says a lot about you. Not only that, I can pretty much guarantee that when you do get that job, somebody who's going to be very close to you that you're going to work with a lot is going to be somebody in your HR organization. Now, the person reading this resume that you've caught their attention is thinking, I really like to work with this person because we share common values. We see things alike. As they push the resumes over, all things being equal, let's say they push 20 resumes over and all of them have the technical skills. Yours has made this connection. And more importantly, yours has now moved on to that next round. So pay close attention to who your audience is, especially at that first level, and make sure that you're doing something there to really capture their attention. So I hope this tip has been helpful, and I look forward to more transition tip episodes. And I want to thank you all for listening. And please go to my website, thehumbleservant.net, and you can actually subscribe to the show there. I want to thank each and every one of you for what you do to keep us all safe, and I look forward to the next time we talk. Take care.